Alright, cool. Hey, what's up, nerds? My name is Trogdor, the same Trogdor as always before. Coming to this 5th NSTL week type thing, and my words are terrible today. Wow. My words have just been terrible lately in general. Okay, so let me try that again. This is the 5th week of the NSTL. No, not even that. This is the 6th week. See, I can't do anything right. My name's Trogdor. I got that right. My opponent is King Bub. Got that right. I've got the Vancouver Tapu Konucks, and he's the commissioner of Munchlaxter United. Okay, we're off to a great start now. So, if you have not checked out my team builder, please go do that because I go pretty in depth as to why I'm bringing what I brought and just my general strategy going into this game. I also mentioned in my team builder the team that I expected Bub to bring, which I got 4 out of 6 right. I was expecting the Rotom Wash to come, and I was also expecting the Steelix to come, neither of which have showed up to this game. Rather, he has the Shaman and the Mismagius, which I was not too worried about in my prep initially, but now that I see them, my team doesn't have as good a matchup. Heatran is definitely a defensive and potentially offensive answer to the Shaman. My Latias, of course, outspeed the Mismagius. Zygarde and Bulu can take any hit and KO it back. And if Cloyster sets up, as is my plan, it's just clean Oko on both of those. So my original battle plan was to lead Cloyster, set up, and basically win. So I'm looking at the team that he's got, and I think I can do that. So just, it all depends on what he leads and if I'm able to get an easy setup. So looking at his team composition, he could likely lead that Scolipede if it's an offensive spike setter. He could have some anti-lead Mega Latias type thing. It's interesting to see both Latias on both sides for a draft league, right? Or it could be like a Rock Setter Miltank. There are a lot of things that it could potentially be. So I'm going to get right on into this battle. Want to press the right button. Here we go. So I lead with Cloyster and he leads with Miltank. So right when I do this, I think to myself, if I set up, is it a guaranteed Oko? So I check if Miltank is fully specially defensive, if my 200 base power breakneck blitz from Hyper Beam will KO. If it's max specially defensive, it doesn't quite kill. If I'm fully set up with physical attack and it's a thick fat Miltank, Icicle Spear doesn't KO 100% of the time. So I'm thinking to myself, this probably isn't a safe place to get 2 Shell Smash, especially if Miltank is carrying something like Thunderbolt or Seismic Toss. So my plan is to come in later after Miltank is a little bit weakened and I determined whether or not it's fully physical or fully special. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm very glad that I switched here because it goes for the Thunderbolt, which would have KO'd me at -2. So he gets up his rocks and I go for a Toxic on the Miltank to, so it can't do things. And I get my rocks up here too, which is great. So Heatran gets up rocks without dying. So now my plan is to just see how much damage I'm doing to that Miltank. I know Lava Plume and Flash Cannon will be doing an okay chunk, and even with my minimal investment, I'm able to gauge the damage. I'm assuming he's max HP, of course, and I'm able to gauge the damage if he's physical or special, or maybe even offensive, which, offensive Stealth Rock Setter Miltank, hey, anything could happen. Anyway, so Latias comes in as I go for the Flash Cannon, which does a pretty good chunk, as he goes for the Mega and almost KOs me with Surf as I go for another Toxic, because I do not want that setting up. So I switch into my Latias, Latias versus Latias, and he goes for the Roost, and the Toxic is coming down. So I'm, of course, Scarfed here, so I am free to KO this with a Draco Meteor. Nothing wants to switch in to my Latias because I have Draco Meteor, which will KO Latias, do a huge chunk to Miltank and Scolipede, and I am also carrying the Ice Beam, which will do a lot of damage to this Latias to the Shaman, and to his fairy type, Togekiss. So I'm just gonna predict him to predict that I'm gonna go for Draco Meteor, and as such go for the Ice Beam. There's really no reason for me not to go for it. It hits this Latias, it hits Togekiss, and anything switching into it will take a Draco right after that. Wait, no. But no, he doesn't know that I'm Scarfed. I'm obviously going to switch out if he goes into like Miltank, but anything else I can probably 2-hit KO. So yeah, he switches into Togekiss, which is great for me because it takes rocks. Ice Beam does 47%, and even though he looks to be a defensive set, I'm able to take out Togekiss right away. So now with Togekiss gone, Zygarde is free to just like spam Banded Outrages, and later on Latias is just free to drop Dracos on everything. So now Scolipede comes in, and if you know me, you know that I always over prepare for Scolipede. My Heatran with the Shuka Berry is low enough to basically die from rocks, so that's not happening. So my only thing to deal with this right now is my Cofagrigus, which I am going to switch in right away. If he's on offensive Scolipede, I can Haze. If he's a Baton Pass, I can Trick Room. So I'm fully physical defense on my Cofagrigus, so I can basically take any hit that it goes for. He goes for the Toxic Spikes, which is interesting because like half my team is immune to it. So he goes for the Baton Pass here, as I go for a Trick Room, which this is fantastic. I was debating between going straight for damage with the Psychic or going for this Trick Room, but in the end I figured his best bet is probably just to Baton Pass, so anything coming in will obviously be faster than my entire team, so I'm going to make the opposite of that happen. Switch the dimensions, everything is slower than me now. So this Latias is going to get bought by a Shadow Ball and, you know, take toxic damage. So I do a huge chunk with my Cofagrigus. Unfortunately, that Spadef drop does happen, and I take a huge chunk from Shadow Ball myself. But he takes some toxic damage, doesn't quite KO, but I'm able to take it out with a Shadow Ball. There was a little bit of hacks there with the Spadef drop. He otherwise might have been able to roost or something, but in the end I was faster, so it was a losing match with the Latias either way. So yeah, so now Shaman comes in. I'm not exactly sure what this wants to do. I go for the Shadow Ball just to see. That's definitely a bulky spread of it. Goes for Hidden Power, which could be Ice, could be Ground. Not so sure, but I just want to keep doing damage. I do get another Spadef drop, unfortunately, so it's not quite up to full. Like it may have been without the second Shadow Ball doing so much damage. But the Shaman is able to take out my Cofagrigus, which more or less did its job. Scolipede is still there, still kind of threatening, but after a second layer of rocks, it'll have a lot of damage done to it, and if his strategy was to Baton Pass into Latias or Togekiss, that's not going to happen anymore, because those are both gone, and yep. So now I'm up 5-4. Latias comes in, so I am free to Draco Meteor anything that comes in, because Togekiss is gone, and nothing really wants to take that much damage. The Shaman, even if it is max Spadef, as I think it is at this point, or no, it's definitely max HP, either that or just some kind of mixed bulk, but either way, with that Spadef drop, which, you know, again, I'm sorry about that little bit of hacks, but Draco Meteor is able to clean it up anyway. Otherwise, I probably would have gone for the Ice Beam, but at this point, Draco Meteor is just a more spammable move for my Latias to go for. He switches out into a Scolipede, takes 25% from rocks, and Draco takes it out, which is nice. Mismagius comes in. So, Mismagius could be a Z user, it could be Specs, it could be a Scarf. I know I outspeed it 100% of the time. I'm not sure if my Scarf was obvious at this point, but at this point, I should have switched out Latias and go into Heatran or maybe Bulu or something. I wasn't certain what this Mismagius was going to do, but just in case it was going to go for like a sub or something, I decided to go for another Draco right here, which still does more than 25%, which is great, but he goes for a Shadow Ball, and yeah. So now I switch into Heatran, as I should have done earlier, but he makes the double into Shaman, which is great for me because I'm able to fire off a Lava Plume. But instead he goes into Miltank, takes a good amount of damage. Toxic is doing more, and yeah, he's faster unfortunately, so I go for the Flash Cannon here because, you know, with the Lava Plume getting the burn, that's the only real reason to go for that over Flash Cannon. But it's already Toxic, so yeah, Miltank takes down Heatran, which, you know, that whole exercise was just to see how much damage I was doing to it. So now I know which move in the future to go for Cloyster. But I am up 4-3 now, so a lot of my like defensive mons, like the Cofagrigus and Heatran, have been doing incredible work with Latias, you know, coming in and forcing him to switch. So my main hitters, the Zygarde and Bulu, haven't even hit the field yet, and Cloyster, you know, was introduced to the field, but been holding into the back. So those 3 mons so far doing all this work for me, so it's great to see them doing work. Miltank's taking the toxic damage, so I go back into Latias, and I want to fire off one more hit. I was kind of predicting, wasn't actually sure why I went for the Psyshock there. Draco was the better play, but yeah, either way, I weaken the Miltank enough so that it goes down to toxic. Heatran got a kill from beyond the grave. Interesting. Now we go into my Tapu Bulu because nothing wants to take a hit from this. Absolutely nothing. I can go for a Nature's Madness. I can go for basically anything that I want. Horn Leech to get some of this health back. But this Shaman is always in range of a Mega Horn, so I can live any one hit from it. And yeah, like that was cute. And just KO with Mega Horn. Very grateful that I hit that Mega Horn. So yeah, now it's Mismagius versus the rest of my team. Hex takes me out there, so good on him for doing the Toxic Spikes to get a lot of Hex damage on me. But I'm able to go into Zygarde now, and at this point he says GG, but I was like, not so fast. You don't know my Zygarde's investment. I just want to double check that I can live an HP Ice, I can live a Hex, I just want to be 100% sure that I can live anything. Normally I would have gone for the extreme speed, but of course that's not going to do anything. So I just want to be 100% sure that I can live any one hit from Mismagius, even with the crit, and safely go for my 1,000 arrows, because my Cloyster does not have Ice Shard this game. So I just want to be 100% sure that I live, even after a poison damage. And I do, and I go for, I do live, and I go for 1,000 arrows and get the final kill with my Dragon Energy. So good game, bub. Your team was extremely scary, but I don't think the matchup was quite in your favor. Yeah, we definitely talked after the game, and he was like, yeah, matchup bad, and I was like, yeah, Zygarde is you know, a thing, Bulu's a thing. I was very surprised not to see the Rotom there, but I don't know if he was worried about a Shell Smash Cloyster. But yeah, Zygarde would just destroy that with the rest of his wall core. Yeah, so that was a great game. I am now 3-3 -2. I got a 2-0 differential. I could have played around a bit differently to preserve differential and be up to 0, but in the end I decided to like play a little bit more safely towards the end to guarantee the win. Just do what I had to do because I'd rather be, you know, guarantee a win than try for differential. So now we're both 3-3. But of course, me and Bub are in 2 different divisions. We're both, you know, in, I guess you could call it the Diamond Conference. 12 teams were split into 6 and 6. So in the conference where I am, the top 2 people, the top 2 go into the playoff round after the regular season. Right now, the race for the second spot is a pretty intense race. Of course, my guy DFP is undefeated, 6-0 right now. We're going up against him next week, so we're going to give him his first loss. But so it's not so much a race for the top seed, it's for the second one. There's me, I'm 3-3. I believe it was my week 1 opponent, Gem, the Sydney Swanna, who is also 3-3, but with a -7 differential. So we've got Gem beat. Next is our week 4 opponent, Don Fanatic, who at the moment is 2-3. So, but he's got a very high differential because he wins big, but loses kind of like medium small. So depending on how his next game goes, he will either be 3-3 with a much higher differential than us, and as such, I will be in 3rd place, but with the same overall record. But if he loses and goes 2-4, he will still have a higher differential, but with a worse record overall. So he will either be in 2nd place or 4th place. So it'll go DFP, me, and then Gem, or DFP, Don Fanatic, and then me. So that battle hasn't happened yet because, you know, he's on an island somewhere without internet or whatever. But we're still waiting for that battle to happen for me to know for certain how I stack up. The season is midway over now. Almost everyone has finished their week 6 battle, so at the moment I'm in pretty okay standings, despite, you know, a couple games that didn't go quite so well. I'm just hoping that I can win against DFP, make him go 6-1 instead of 7-0. Like, who was the nerd who invited, like, some person who's never played in League before to join a league and then go undefeated? That was me. Anyway, all that aside, great game, bub. Glad to play you. And yeah, everyone who's watching this video, toss a like if you enjoyed the content and subscribe for more league stuff. I've got this league going, and then also that other league, which I'm not going to be uploading as regularly, maybe if I feel like it, but yeah, I'm definitely putting more work into NSTL. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. All right, everyone. Bye-bye.